What's up, Jets fans? Welcome back to another edition of Jet Nation Radio. I am your host, Dylan Tereman. Today I'm just going to go over a couple training camp updates. We've had a lot of news come out since I've last been on joint practice with the Atlanta Falcons, so let's get right into it. Injuries first. Zach Wilson flew to LA on Tuesday to have surgery on his right knee. The severity was to be determined at the time of the surgery by the doctor. This is the same doctor that Mekhi Becton is seeing for his knee injury as well. And basically, we were given two options. With Wilson, it was either going to be a bone bruise and a meniscus tear, and that would just require a trim, which would keep him out for 2 to 4 weeks. Or the second option was going to be more damage to the knee than expected, and he would have to do a full repair, and that would require a season-ending injury for Wilson. I think I speak for most Jets fans when I say we dodged a complete bullet, and it was confirmed that all that was needed was the trim, so he will be out for 2 to 4 weeks. Some are speculating that it could be 4 to 6 weeks, and quite honestly, I'm fine with that. I think the longer they need to have more conviction that he is 100, maybe 105, 110% healthy, I'm fine with it. He clearly doesn't sound like he'll be playing against the Baltimore Ravens in Week 1, but the Cleveland Browns game in Week 2 and the Cincinnati Bengals game in Week 3 are still in play. So in the interim, it will be Joe Flacco. Seems to be doing a decent job in the interim. So a good update on Zach Wilson. Elsewhere, cornerbacks, Brandon Echols. He was nursing a shoulder injury from the end of last season. Hasn't really been at camp much. We finally got an update with him making a play this week, and it looks like he had a small hamstring injury. Not sure the severity. We were not given an update by Robert Saleh in the press conferences, so hopefully it's going to be okay. Maybe we see him out there against the Falcons, but not sure. Veteran cornerback DJ Reed, also a hamstring. This kept him out of the Eagles game. I'm not sure what their plan is as far as playing him in the Falcons game, but I believe he's going to be back at practice, if not already is back at practice. So that's a good sign. Vinny Curry, again, hamstring, seems to be a theme right now. He's a veteran, so they're going to play it safe, give him rest. He hasn't been on the field since before last season started, I believe. I don't even think he got preseason snaps last year, or very few with the team. So it's been over a year since he's played football, so they're going to take it very slow with him. Elsewhere on the D-line, Bryce Huff, an oblique injury. Robert Saleh said it should be a couple of days. I don't think it's likely that he plays against the Falcons, so that'll just mean more reps for Jabari Zuniga, Michael Clemens, Jacob Martin. So he should be ultimately okay, but not looking likely for this game. As I just mentioned, Michael Clemens, he actually took a helmet to the ribs Saturday against the Falcons in joint practice. Saleh said he should be okay. I'm sure he'll power through it and play snaps on Monday night and continue to be the dominant force that he is. Whether he's pleased about it or not, I think he was a shining star in the first game and as far as the backups went. Quinnen Williams, more of a severe injury on the defensive line, not hitting the panic button, but he has not been in practice all week. He was out in the game for Philadelphia. He played, and I don't believe he's going to play at all against the Falcons. He hasn't practiced once. So not looking good for him, but I don't believe it's going to be too severe to keep him out of any regular season action, and perhaps he will play against the Giants next week. And then linebacker Marcel Harris, newly signed Marcel Harris from the San Francisco 49ers. He has another hamstring, so that's 4 players with a hamstring. His seems to be a bit more severe, and Saleh said it'll be about a week or 2. So it's unlikely that we see him in the preseason. We saw him limited against the Eagles, and I think he did okay with the backups and third string. So a big hit to his development if he can't play for the rest of the preseason, but looks like it's nothing too serious, obviously. So that's pretty much it for all the injuries. Some news and notes that we've missed since I've last been on. Dwayne Brown officially signed his deal. It's a 2-year, $20 million deal. He gets $9 million guaranteed with a $7.8 million signing bonus. He carries a 2022 cap hit of 3.69, which also comes with $9 million in dead cap. And then next year, his cap hit increases to 11.57, so a dramatic increase, and it still carries a $6.3 million dead cap. So, and then on top of that, they have 3 void years from 2024 to 2026. So first and foremost, I think it's not necessarily a good thing that Joe Douglas has already started to use void contracts. I think generally in this league, we've seen teams that are more pressed for cap space have to use these void year tactics, so to speak, in order to structure their contracts in a way that gives both the team and the player financial flexibility and satisfactory. So it's not a great look that he has 3 void years, not just 1, but 3. But ultimately, I think this shows that Dwayne Brown is going to be on the team for the foreseeable future. Obviously, this year he will be the left tackle, and I think next year they have a plan to obviously use him at his 11.5 cap hit. I doubt they would try to restructure with void years already on. So to me, it shows that Dwayne Brown is going to be here for a significant amount of time. It's not just going to be a stopgap left tackle and they look to replace him in this upcoming draft class. So Fant moves to right tackle. He's adjusting, being the ultimate team player. Again, more of the reason to pay him his extension. Even if you can find a middle ground between left tackle and right tackle money with George Fant, I think you have to get the deal done. He's done nothing but come in and prove that he is exactly what you want out of a team player, a veteran. He's still relatively young in his football career. I believe he only has 7 or 8 years playing football in general as a former basketball player. So he's got a lot of tread on his tires, and everything they've asked him to do, he's done it. He's not batted an eye. He might be complaining behind the scenes, but that's nothing we've seen up on the surface. So, the ultimate definition of a guy that you want to pay to be a part of your franchise. So that's just an update on the tackles. I don't believe Dwayne Brown will play against the Falcons this week. So what you'll likely see is George Fant at the right tackle position and Chuma Edoga at the left tackle position, or potentially Max Mitchell. He's been getting some reps at left tackle. He played right tackle for almost 3 full quarters of the first preseason game. So it's great to see him out there getting reps at both tackles. I believe he's stronger on the right, but if he can play left, that's great too. Joe Flacco, I mentioned it. He's been the quarterback taking over for Zach Wilson, and truthfully, he's done nothing but light it up since the first practice on this past Sunday. Rich Cimini reported that he went 16 of 20 with an interception and a sack, but it ended up with 9 straight completions. This is the Sunday practice, and it truly did nothing but get better. I believe he had a 14 of 17 day, a 13 of 20 day, 18 for 25, and a touchdown against the first day against the Atlanta Falcons. So Joe Flacco is looking the part. He's going to run the offense smoothly. He's going to take his 3-step drops, get through his progressions, find Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson open due to their incredibly high level, I don't want to say elite yet because they're still young, but incredibly high level route running. I believe Joe Flacco even mentioned it. Elijah Moore gives him a Steve Smith kind of vibe with his explosiveness and his ability to feel being open. Not only does he get open, but he's able to adjust his routes to get open in a more efficient way, and I believe Joe Flacco is going to take advantage of that in the first few weeks while Zach Wilson's out. So you love to see the chemistry already picking up. Garrett Wilson has had a ton of great catches. He had one on the Saturday practice that was actually out of bounds, but very, very reminiscent of what he was doing at Ohio State, just going up and mossing defenders essentially, whether it's back shoulder or just 50-50 jump balls. We've seen his body control and his ability to contort his body to make these catches. It's incredible to see from a young player. Obviously, we want to see it translate to the games. He had a very quiet Eagles game, but he was still cutting people up. So a great update for the chemistry of Joe Flacco and his receivers. Breece Hall, rookie running back, had a big 75-yard run, perfect one cut and go. every angle of it I've watched on the internet is just better and better each time. You see him just split the defense and just go, and nobody's catching him from that Atlanta team. There's just black jerseys trailing him. So great to see Breece Hall is doing exactly what this offense is designed for. Just find your hole, explode through the hole, home run, touchdown speed. Breece Hall, probably his best day of practice of late. Hopefully he continues to stack them up. Another rookie update, Ahmed Gardner. He picked off his former Cincinnati teammate Desmond Ridder. There is talk about if it was a defensive pass interference or a holding penalty on the play. Hasn't been confirmed either way. Still, you like to see the fact that he's getting his hands on the ball, coming down with it, not just breaking it up, but securing the interception. Obviously, the penalties are not a good thing. There was a clip of him on the perimeter against Kyle Pitts one-on-one, and it looked like Kyle Pitts got the better of him. It's one snap. I'm not going to read too much into it. He was the 4th overall pick at a very vulnerable position. The cornerback position is one where they truly put you out on an island, and it is sink or swim. And while I do believe Gardner will swim more than he will sink, there will be those moments where he just will look like a rookie, and he can use his length and his size to his advantage all he wants, but there's going to be times where a receiver will get the better of him, and that's fine. You just don't want to see him make a bad play, let it get in his head, and then continue to make bad plays throughout the course of the game. So one little ding on Sauce Gardner, but overall, he's been having a fantastic summer. Overall, my thoughts on the joint practices between the Falcons are, it's good when you can look better than other struggling teams. It's sad that this is the expectation for the Jets right now, but to me personally, baby steps. It's not something fans love to hear, but you can't always go from worst to first in the division or the conference, or do what the Bengals did every year and go from 4 wins to the Super Bowl. It's just unrealistic. So keeping realistic expectations, I think this is a huge start as far as winning against bad teams. Last year, the Jets were 4-4 in one-score ball games. So naturally, I believe that's going to improve as they learn to close out wins against bad teams. Last year, their 4 losses were Miami twice, Carolina, and Tampa Bay, all by 1 score. I think that easily could have been 6-2 or 7-1 if the ball bounces in a way in the Jets' favor 1, maybe 2 times in that game. Miami we had on the ropes twice, once with Joe Flacco, once with Zach Wilson. Carolina week 1, it wasn't as close of a game as the scoreboard says it was at the end, 19-14. But I think if they were to just make a couple plays here and there that didn't go their way, that game could have been the Jets. And obviously Tampa Bay, they're a much better team, but the fact that you can hang in there and have a 2-score lead in the second half against what was considered the NFC favorite and a Super Bowl contender every year with Tom Brady, I think that's great. So naturally, with the law of averages per se, you're going to start winning more one-score ball games. And this was the way to do it, to beat up on a team that's not got a great roster in the Atlanta Falcons and hit the ground running. As far as we have some easy games on this schedule with the Lions, the Jaguars. I would even put the Bears, the Vikings to an extent in that category too. All games where the Jets should be in it, and if they can find a way to close out those games, it'll go a long way for the chemistry of the team and the overall development of the team moving forward to be that perennial wild card playoff team that we all want it to be. So all in all, a great start. I think it's only going to get better from here on out. We have the game still against the Falcons, and then we have a week of joint practices with the Giants that will be followed by the Snoopy Bowl, everybody's favorite. So I think it's going to be not necessarily a cakewalk, but I think it's going to be something that we'll see positive feedback coming out of these practices and games where the Jets will perhaps drive down the field fairly easily on these defenses, put together touchdown drives instead of field goal drives. So ultimately, we're just going to keep looking at that. We're going to keep, we want to see guys like Garrett Wilson, Michael Clemens, some of these rookies get more reps moving into week 2 and week 3 of the preseason. Obviously, we're getting ready to play Baltimore, so we're not throwing game plans out there for the Falcons and the Giants. They're just going to run their stuff and do their offense and their defense to the way they are accustomed to doing it. A lot of cover 3, a lot of outside zone on offense. So I don't want to say vanilla, but they're just hammering home their philosophies. And then once we get into the regular season, then we'll see a lot more. But until then, I just wanted to come on, give a quick 15 minutes. I'm excited for the Falcons game. I think the Jets should win it. If not, it's not a big deal. I want to see the starters do a little bit better than they did last week. And I think Joe Flacco will do that. So until next time, I'm Dylan Tereman. You can follow me at dtereman on Twitter. Follow Glenn Naughton at AceFan23. Follow Green Bean at Bean the Jets Fan. He's doing a lot of great stuff on YouTube. So excited for all the content we're coming out with. As you can see, we're doing a video attempt here. Glenn and I should be revealing a show via video coming up that will also be a podcast. So we're super excited here at Jet Nation. It's only going to get better from here as the season starts. So thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon.